I get asked this question all the time about posts and frequency of posts. How many times should I post on a particular platform? And the reality is, the game has never been about volume. The real game is not about the volume of posts and the number of things that you could push out in one day. The real opportunity for anybody is to figure out, how do you share quality posts every single time that you post something online? The best way to do it, especially in this AI age, is to try and figure out, how do you provide real value leveraging AI tools so that you can get things done efficiently, but you can also provide extreme value at the end of the day. If your real goal at the end of the day is to try and post in volume so that you could put your lead generation on autopilot or something like that, I could tell you it's not going to work. Real lead generation and real connection happens with real people. And that real connection only happens whenever you take part in that process of coming up with, what is my brand identity? What is my voice? How do I really build a level of authority around a particular topic? And taking a look, a deep look at what you post, so that whenever you're posting, it's something that is of value to people. I was working with somebody this morning on lead magnets, and the whole idea was, look, a simple checklist isn't going to cut it anymore. If that's what you want to do, is publish a simple checklist or publish an ebook or whatever, the reality is that's not going to have the impact that you want it to have. What you have to figure out is, how do I provide real value? You could still use a survey. Don't get me wrong. You could use a survey that dives deeply into the problem that your ideal customer profile has, and then provide some real value back. Make sure that whatever it is actually providing some answers to people so that they can take action directly. They shouldn't have to get on a call with you to decipher the results. They shouldn't have to fight through any level of web pages and connections and calendar appointments and things like that. Instead, provide the value up front. Similar to that, one of the things that I have that goes along with this post is an offer document that is called Volume Stopped Working. And essentially, it breaks this idea down. How is it that I can look at my business and I can look at my content and make sure that the things that I post provide real value? In that level, you sort of go deeper. If you want to go deeper with me, there are other opportunities for anybody. You could join my free school community. The link to that will be below. There's a paid community that you can join. There will be a link to that below. There are lots of opportunities to connect with me. And I would say every business owner needs to be thinking about this for themselves. How is it that I post something of value? I provide some value to people. I get them to think about things a little bit differently. In this case, it's, the posting volume really isn't the key here. It's, how do you post something of quality that provides value? And then by doing that, you could still leverage AI. It's not like you're not leveraging the tools in this case. The opportunity for you to go a little bit deeper is to go get the offer document, not forcing you to give me an email address or anything like that. And instead, hopefully you get some value from it and you join some of my other places to connect with me, right? So that's kind of the journey that I see for people, that I feel like a lot of people don't get. A lot of people seem to think, hey, look, I put a calendar link on my website or on my LinkedIn profile. I put a way to get a demo, and that's on my profile. Those things everybody sees through as a bottom of the funnel connection opportunity. And so if I want to connect with you and go live with you, typically it's going to be through a series of things where I've seen content from you for a period of time. Maybe it's something that resonates with me, and it doesn't necessarily have to be video, right? I mean, somebody was telling me also this morning, hey, look, I'm an introvert. I really don't like doing video. So don't. Do something that you know that you can be successful at. Post carousels, post long form articles, post things that you know that you can continue to follow through on, that are of value to people, that then get people back to your website or back to your community and to a place where they can actually interact with you. I'm not saying that we wouldn't ever collect an email address either. Lead magnets truly have their place. If you have a survey or something where you're going to provide a result to somebody that is of value, maybe you do collect their email address. That still is an opportunity for you to post something online and then get them to take that next step. The whole idea around this is AI has really made the idea of pumping out a lot of content is pretty easy anymore. So having two, three, four, five posts a day is not that hard. But I also know that most of the social media platforms that are out here are playing that game as well. And they're saying, hey, look, our audiences are getting flooded with content now that is not of value. So, how do we counter that? Well, they're reading through your posts. They're looking for things like AI trigger words, those M dashes that appear between words. And frankly, I like M dashes. So, unfortunately, that is a trigger thing for AI because I actually do like them. And, I think that at the end of the day, there's an opportunity for all of you to think about how do you post quality content that really benefits your audience so that they know exactly what they can do with the opportunity of working with you. So, how do you take the next step? Well, first of all, you have to think about this from a content standpoint. What I want you to do is go pull up the last 10 posts that you wrote and think about them from the aspect of could AI have written this with a generic prompt? And if the answer is yes, then you absolutely need to rethink your content and your content strategy, how you're getting content out there. You want to be able to think about the ways that you've leveraged real clients, real numbers, a real situation, and those real situations are the opportunity for you to stand out. It's a way for you to even include it in your brand identity document that you're feeding into AI so that it's using those case studies as a way to build really personalized content for you that nobody else can replicate because nobody else has lived through the things that you have or done the sort of things that you have with your clients. Now, we have a real advantage in that we write a lot of content for clients. And whenever we think about this problem, it's one that doesn't necessarily come without its issues. I have to have somebody's voice profile. I have to have somebody's brand identity, and I really need their ICP or their ideal client profile. With those three elements, you start to write things that are much more unique for somebody, but also you need to sprinkle in those really personal stories. When are you actually going to pull up and say, hey, you know what? Today's the day. Every single week, I'm going to publish at least one piece of content that I've really spent in-depth time to make sure that I get out there and connect with the people that could possibly connect with my content. As you're thinking through that, though, I also want you to think through the level of engagement that you get with those pieces. It's funny to me because the places where I see content leveraging AI heavily, those pieces, they maybe get a couple likes, they maybe get, some comments here and there, and they're possibly opportunities, to get people to understand where to engage and things like that. On the other side, when we've had clients post personal stories and personal engagement, by far goes much further than anything that AI can write today. And that I think is the real opportunity for you. So think about it that way and think about ways to engage with people. Make sure that you download the offer document. Make sure that you reach out to me if there's a way that we can help you. And for sure, please take me up on joining the free school community. Thanks a lot.
Hey, if you're liking this content, please do me a favor and click that like button for me. Also, please consider subscribing to the channel. And lastly, below this video, you will find a link to my free school community where I place all of the assets for all of the videos that I create. So please do those three things for me. Click like, click subscribe, and make sure that you join us in the free school community because I have lots of resources over there that I frequently do not post on YouTube. So please do me a favor and join us in school, and we will make sure that you get all of the assets plus all of the bonuses that I add to every single video, PDFs, GPTs, all of those sorts of things.